Welcome, everybody, to the Black and White History Podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe. And we are your hosts, Christian and...
Speak softly and carry a big stick.
Part 2 of our the TR train.
I'm Jordan.
is full steam ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And first part, we covered basically everything up until right when he becomes president.
Mm-hmm.
And so William McKinley is whacked.
He's shot with a prostitute gun.
Yep. And now we have youngest president ever at 42 years old. And truly the first, obviously, in more ways than one, but first 20th century presidency. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like we were in the 20th century, but it was like the third guy in, and then it really got rolling. I mean, everything.
1901.
Yes, politics changed completely overnight in 1901.
Yes.
Yes. So it's kind of funny how that.
It's interesting, like, apparently shortly after his inauguration, Teddy Roosevelt said, "Now I have a bully pulpit." And that's like, in political science, is like, the bully pulpit is, I have a lot of power and you have to listen to me. So like, I am in a position where I have tremendous influence and everyone's eyes are on me. And so not necessarily what I say goes, but if I say something, then that injects it into the national consciousness. And like, now my idea is going to be discussed and it's going to be debated where it may not have been on the table before. So like all of his progressive, like, and progressive not in like the modern progressive term, but like progressive of things have been like this and we want them to be better. So we're going to do this, and this. Not like things are good and we're going to start doing wacky stuff to see if it works, because like there's some fringe theory that could maybe work for some people theoretically. It's like people are in meatpacking plants knee deep in blood and gore. And that's not for 14 hours a day.
People are dying of salmonella.
Maybe we should not do that. It would be good, objectively, if people didn't die of salmonella and sneeze on your ground beef. So let's like do that. That's progressive.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the idea of we're definitely knee deep in the, use your analogy,
blood and human effluent,
but also in the industrial age.
Yes.
And so things are also just progressing in terms of technology and just standards of living. Is also changing, and it's not just with America, but it's the whole world. Mm-hmm. And so, like we talked, with William McKinley and just the rise of imperialism, and we're now not just in a tug of war with Britain anymore, like we were 150 years prior.
Yes.
Now it's like Japan, Germany, and Britain, and Russia. And so there's
which will come up in this presidency.
Yeah. And so there's a lot more at stake, I guess. Another meat analogy. But anyway.
That's terrible. Yeah. Anyways, so he gets in office, and kind of his political, like, one way to describe his framework is termed the square deal. And that's basically like the government, because up until this point, like we talked about the robber barons / captains of industry, and like, working conditions are poor. Pay is low generally. And labor laws and striking and all this stuff is kind of something that the government could get into, potentially, if someone had the willingness to get into that and go against like big business. Not even like go against big business necessarily, but just say anything to them. Like, don't bite the hand that feeds has been the business relations with the government for the past 50 plus years. And Teddy's framework is, okay, the government is here to protect the rights of the people. And the government's job is to promote business and flourishing and the increase in prosperity for the country as well. Those two things are both true, and the government is supposed to sit in the middle of those and improve the lives of the people by safeguarding them from like nameless, faceless profit machines that don't care about your working conditions, they care about your productivity. That's the first kind of big divide or change in political philosophy that he kind of brings forward in his early first term presidency. And it's very risky, it's very dangerous, because business is where all the money is, and it has been. That civil service reform too, as part of the square deal, like, hey, if you're going to work for the government, and like we said in part one, he has a really good and really bad habit of going into systems that are corrupt and broken and just punching corruption in the face until it works. and it pisses everyone off, but he leaves and the system is better, he's just going to keep doing that. It seems to work so far. So
it's like when you have the remote and it's not working, and you just get really mad at it and you just smack it on the table and it starts working.
yeah, you have to threaten it sometimes. I could hurt you if I wanted to. Oh, okay, now you're going to cooperate. Isn't this great? So yeah, those things. He, even from like early childhood, again, if you haven't seen kind of the breakdown of his early life, watch part 1. But like, he came from wealth, he came from privilege, but his dad specifically really enforced, like, use your wealth, use your influence and power to help the common person, because his religious background and convictions were like, we're all equally people, and it doesn't guarantee that everyone's going to be rich and famous and successful, but it's not right for there to be issues and policies and laws and structures that intentionally hold people back from being what they could be. So people in positions of influence and power don't necessarily have to push people up past where they would have gone themselves, but to remove the barriers for them to get where they want to work towards and get to. So that philosophy is what really informed the Square Deal, and he got right to work.
Yeah, trust busting.
Yes, the Sherman Antitrust Act.
Yeah,
You had to dust that old thing. Hey, we can break up monopolies. Why haven't we done that? Because they have a lot of money. Oh, well, I don't care about that. Break them up.
yeah, yeah. It's weird. That was signed over a decade prior, and it was, the answer to help fix all this stuff, and it just wasn't really enforced. And so then Teddy Roosevelt ends up using it and properly suing companies and stockholders and stuff with that to actually get the ball rolling.
Yeah, because, I mean, and we've talked about monopolies in the past, but like, the whole point of, hey, I want to start a business and I want to get into the oil industry because there's a lot of land, there's a lot of oil, and there's a lot of money to be made. But I can't break into that business because Standard Oil, they own all of it. And if I find oil somewhere, they have enough money and influence and power to just buy me out or force me off the land, and they'll just take it for themselves. There's no opportunity for the little guy to break into an industry where these monopolies exist, because they'll just buy up the company that I come up with.
Yeah, it's weird because some of this still exists today, obviously. So, but it's interesting how way more out of control it was. So it's like a today's standard would be, you have Heinz, they make ketchup and mustard and things. And so you have Walmart that pays Heinz to sell their product cheaper at their place at Walmart and more expensive at the mom and pop store, and then
At the ketchup store.
yeah. And so people naturally be like, well, I'll go to Walmart, I know it's cheaper. And so then you decrease business from the small businesses, and then they end up suffering, which gives Walmart a chance to buy them out, or at least just get them bankrupt so they're out of the way. And then that's how you have Walmart stationed in these 1,000-person towns or less, and things like that.
Everybody works at the Walmart.
Yeah. And so, but this was like, bigger things than ketchup was, railroads and
Steel.
steel and banks
And the entire financial system.
yeah.
Yeah, it's you think of like modern monopolies or whatever. Like think of like Microsoft and Apple, or Apple and Samsung, or Google and everyone else. So it's like, all right, try to start your own search engine. Like, number one, no one's going to use it. But number two,
Ask Jeeves went defunct a long time ago.
Try GoDaddy.
Yeah.
That's not a search engine, but whatever. Like, it's not a monopoly in that there are laws, and you could theoretically create your own ISP or create your own cable company, or, well, probably not, because it's like critical infrastructure, whatever. You could break into the oil industry. But ExxonMobil and Shell and Chevron, they are so well established, they are so closely tied with contracts and international business and blah, 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 blah. Having influence in the government and having influence in how the laws and regulations around your industry happen, they don't create a monopoly because other companies can exist. But they can make it so difficult and expensive for a new competitor to come in that it's essentially a monopoly. Like, functionally, not legally. And that's the distinction between now and then, because legally, there were no restrictions. I will just buy your company. I don't care. Now you can't just go, Google has enough money to buy every other Google adjacent company, but they cannot do it. Like, if AT&T and Verizon wanted to merge together and control all sell coverage in the United States, they legally cannot do it. Like, the government will not allow them to do that. In 1900, they could just do that and say, hey, you want to make a boatload of money together? Like, we'll do the same job and we'll just both make double the money. Like, oh, yeah, sure, totally, fine. And we'll charge the customers whatever we want, because where are they going to go? They could legally do that. Now they can't do that.
Yeah. It's kind of, I know there's risks of slippery slopes with that kind of thing. But,
Always.
But I mean, yeah, there's always I know we've kind of talked about this before, but the difference with the, I guess, conservative view and the liberal view in like a more modern sense of, the liberal view of, oh, we want to, healthcare. We just want everyone to have healthcare, and we don't want people sick, and boom, therefore we just give everyone healthcare and let the government control it all, and there, everyone's healthy and no one has to deal with it. So because premiums, right? We don't want those. So we'll let the
deductibles. What's that?
Right. And then like the conservative view is more, okay, yeah, but if we do that, what bad things are going to come out of it, and what good things are going to come out of it, and let's weigh those and see how, because it's like both sides like want people to prosper.
Ostensibly.
Sure, but, just kind of the different philosophies of going about it. So we have someone like Teddy who's not going to just completely dismantle the capitalist system of America, but kind of just put a little prick in it just to make sure that the wealth inequality doesn't go like this really, really, really fast. Instead, maybe we can slow it down just a little bit, and then it'll still go up faster, but at least there's more opportunities for...
Yes, there are allowed to be rich and poor people. There just are, for various reasons. People work harder than others, people are smarter than others, people are more motivated than others. That's just a reality of the human condition. People are different and will achieve different things. But it's not fair for someone who is really, really smart and really, really capable and talented to take advantage of someone who is not as sophisticated and bleed them for every penny that they possibly can, and oh, well, you entered into this contract voluntarily. It's like, well, I didn't really have a choice.
Yeah.
I can't make my own way. So it's not fair for you to take advantage of me. So, that's where governance gets... Previous presidents really were well, the government is very letter of the law, black and white. We're not going to get into the morality or ethics, because ethics is different from law. Something that is legal can be morally and ethically wrong. Slavery was legal. The Holocaust was legal. That wasn't... Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's good. And you can get into the pure ethics side of it is well, if it's good, then we should do it at all costs. It's well, the costs of doing this good thing, giving everyone healthcare, the costs of that are going to be 50, 100 years in the future. And you have to wait 8 months to go see a podiatrist. That's not good. That's not good. The fact that you could do good thing, but can't functionally do good thing because of realistic logistical constraints on the real world, it makes a good thing into almost even a worse thing.
Yeah.
Because now it's everyone gets free healthcare, but you can't use it.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Or it's not good. Oh, take some Robitussin. Well, I could have done that. Anyways, your taxes are 70%. Oh.
Well, I think a good example of seeing this through also with this philosophy is the 1902 coal mine strike.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw anything about that. But
yeah, that was a big strike. Wasn't it 100 and some odd thousand?
Yep, about 140,000 people went on strike and around Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. And this was around the summertime, so it's not a big deal. And obviously,
it's riot season.
It's, if anyone doesn't know, heating up your house in those days used coal. Mm-hmm. Well, if there's no one working at the coal mines, you're going to be okay for a while until it gets winter, and now you don't have any coal to... now all your kids freeze to death.
Yeah.
So there ends up being a huge scarce moment of we need to get people back to work as quick as they can, but the laborers are no, we told you we want, when you go on strike, we want, I think it was a 20% pay increase and an 8-hour workday. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe go down 5 days a week or something like that. Anyway, but
we don't want to be underground 24 hours a day indefinitely for 5 cents a day.
And so,
please.
Yeah. So basically, this is the first time this happens, because previous presidents, what they would usually do is they just kind of go with whatever, the Rockefeller groups or the JP Morgans of the world, the huge ivory tower, the owners of the industry, and they just kind of naturally side with them because it's just easier. And like you said, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Mm-hmm. What Teddy does instead is he sets up a meeting where he gets representatives from both sides to come in, and he just sits there as a moderator and just hears them both out. And That may not sound crazy today, but that was like the first time
That's
ever
crazy.
happened. Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah. And so he ends up siding more with the coal miner side, but is still willing to see if both sides can meet in the middle somewhere. But George Baer, the non-worker side, the owner of the coal mining plant, and he is trying to lobby his way into being like, oh, well, he has this quote where God's actually entrusted me to run this, and that it's actually me providing for you, and that he trusts me to do the right things, and he says that we should do it this way, and try to do this weird thing. And so what Teddy does...
All right, Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah. What Teddy does in response is he goes, okay, well, if you're not going to meet any concessions at all, I'm just going to take over the coal plant, and I'll just have federal troops run it, and we'll just be out of business. Everyone else gets their coal, and whatever. You have to deal with it.
Well, God told me that I'm the president, and who's going to stop me?
Right. So then George Baer is like, okay, fine. We don't want
I'm hearing God say something different, like compromise and treat your neighbor like some. I don't know, it's something crazy, but I guess fine.
So he agrees to both sides agree to a 10% wage increase in a 9-hour workday.
Sure.
And so they're like, okay, both sides leave. They get what they want, basically.
Everyone is equally unhappy, which is a sign of a great negotiation. We make the best deals. Yeah. Nobody likes it.
Yeah. Well, then it does create this ripple effect, too, where they have all these other businesses that see this, and they go, oh, no, I don't want our workers to go on strike and this happens. So why don't we go ahead and just start maybe bumping up some of their pay and keep them happy?
I mean, it's negotiating 101.
Yeah.
You have to know what the other side wants. And if they want a 20% increase and they're going to shut your business down, you got to do the dollars and cents. Like, is it more expensive for me to give you a 12%, 15% increase, or for you to stop working and shut down production and maybe the government federalizes my business and I lose everything? So you do the calculation and say, okay. But also, politicians and businessmen share this. They have big egos and a penchant for revenge, generally. And so they don't want to feel like they lost. So if you ask for a 20% increase and I give you an 18% increase, well, I still won because you didn't get what you wanted.
Yeah.
So, like, you have to give someone something to make them feel like they didn't lose, but also not so much that the other side feels like they won. Like, if you want a 20% increase and you want a 0% increase, we'll split the difference. We'll split the baby, King Solomon. And well, that's not a great analogy because one person really cared a lot more than the other person. But anyway, so, like, we'll split it down the middle. No one gets what they want, but everyone gets something. You don't have to pay 20. You don't get 20, but you get 10. And, okay, you don't get a 12-hour workday, and you don't get an 8-hour workday, but you get a 9-hour workday.
Yeah.
All right, that's just shitty enough to work. Perfect. That's negotiating masterclass. Good job, Teddy.
Yeah. And I guess we can probably should we go into the Panama Canal?
Panama! Copyright strike.
Yep.
Yeah, so the Panama Canal. Here's the thing about Panama and
canals
and oceans. So put up the map of the world. So right there in Panama, you have the Pacific Ocean over here and the Atlantic Ocean over here. And it turns out there's really big, rich trading countries on either side of those. And America's right smack dab in the middle. Isn't that cool? The problem with that is that you have to go around the entirety of South America and come all the way back up to get to the other side from England, or go over the top into the Arctic Circle and freeze to death and die. So, but basically you have to go pretty close to Antarctica, and it's a long, long, long way, and you'll probably get lost or die. So, how about, where's in the middle? Where's the land the thinnest? Panama. Let's just cut Panama in half and fill it with water, and big ships can just cut through that. Well, I don't know. That's a massive infrastructure undertaking. And whoever controls that canal would basically control world trade in the Western Hemisphere. Sounds like a job for America.
Yeah.
It's a massive, massive project. I mean, the Panama Canal could be its own multi-part thing.
We'll give the Spark Note version, but
go look it up. This isn't the Panama podcast.
But yeah, it didn't start under the U.S. It was actually not even our idea.
What?
Yes, it was France's idea.
Well, of course, they're too lazy to finish it.
Yeah, so they tried actually.
We ran out of money.
Yeah. That was what happened.
Oh no!
That happened.
Too much cake.
Yeah.
Oh, mon Dieu.
Yeah, that, and also too many of their workers kept dying.
Oh, fuck bleu.
Yeah,
They're dying, and we have no money. That's French history. They're back and we have momentum.
So then we end up
World War II.
we end up entering the picture and being like, okay, I think we can probably pull this off. And
We can make this work.
yeah, it was a 13,000-mile trip, and so it cut it, basically in half, and down to 8,000 miles. And
Still a long ass way.
yes,
In a tiny wooden boat powered by the wind.
yep,
Well, maybe steam now.
yeah, oh yeah, we're modern.
We're modern now. Steam.
Um,
It's still steam. Nuclear reactors just boil water to make steam, to turn turbines. Steam is the water, man. Anyways.
we're learning on the spot. So anyway, so but the politics behind it, though, in Panama is interesting. In Colombia, is you have kind of this political uprising happening in Panama where they want to be their own nation away from Colombia, and so Teddy knows a good deal when he sees one and says, "Okay, we want this canal. This is just better for us. It's better for everyone. Let's just be honest." And also, Panama wants to break away from Colombia. Why don't we help you, and then you help us? Everyone gets a canal. Everyone except for Colombia is happy. Well, they're kind of happy because they still get to use it. So
Yeah, why not?
so that we end up using our navy to basically fend off any troops and trying to counteract the uprising that Colombia was trying to put on Panama. And so Colombia ends up becoming recognized as its own independent nation. Or did I say Panama?
You said Colombia.
Sorry, Panama becomes its own independent nation away from Colombia.
For the purposes of the Panama Canal.
Yes, for the purposes of the Panama Canal.
You know you're powerful when you can create a whole country just for like an infrastructure project.
Yep. Right. And so huge. I mean, this was like a huge undertaking. I mean, it actually didn't even get finished till after he died.
Yeah.
Or no, it was Woodrow Wilson was president, but he was still after he was not even president anymore. But and then it also created, again, with progressing into 20th century, even with the science of it, of being able to cure disease, yellow fever, and understanding more with mosquitoes and things like that. And so we were able to even create more, cures and medicine and things like that. And so
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Sucker
blood, I keep dying. It's the bugs.
And yeah, so little brief history of that. He did say that was his proudest achievement as president.
Which is interesting, but also it makes sense. It is a combination of like hard work, determination, get your hands dirty. We're digging a big trench through a country to connect two oceans. And also like some pretty fine diplomacy.
Yeah.
And back that up with big old metal ships with guns on them. Yeah. It's everything that Teddy loves rolled into one. Tropical.
Yeah.
It's an excursion.
Yeah.
It's great. Malaria.
Yeah.
He loves malaria.
Malaria, that was the other thing I was thinking of. Not just yellow fever, but malaria was the other. Anyway, okay. Let's we might need a speed run through a couple of these. We got a lot of notes for
He did a lot of stuff. He won the Nobel Prize.
Yes.
For negotiating the
ending of the Russia-Japanese War.
Yes. Which is interesting because that's where you get like Manchuria. Also remember, we are in an international globalized world now. So like, it's not just the England, France, Spain show. So Japan, a tiny island nation, is punching way above its weight and is making, and they've made incursions into China before, but Russia and China are super close neighbors. So Japan takes over like the Manchurian candidate, like a big area that would be Eastern China.
Right.
Which they've tried to do, they've done many times, whatever, it's a whole big thing. But the Russians don't like it, and they say, oh, we're the great Russian bear. Of course we're going to kick out these island nation backwards samurai people who, whatever, they only got guns 5 minutes ago. And the Russians come in and say, we're going to kick your ass. And Japan says, absolutely not. Go back to Moscow. And it is a bitter, bitter war for both sides. And Teddy Roosevelt looks over and says, oh, I kind of have a thing with Europe. And Russia's really big and really close to Europe. And Japan is also really big, maybe not in size, but clearly in military power. And we have a lot of interest in the Caribbean and in the South Pacific. And we like trading with China. They love opium. So why not? Cut that part. But like, we should probably get involved in that, but we don't want to fight a war with Russia and Japan. So we need to, basically at this point in the Russo-Japanese War, both sides are pretty well spent. But the Japanese have always been the kind of people who are like, we're just going to keep fighting until either you give up or we're all dead. And Russia has a lot of national pride, hundreds, a thousand years of history. Like, they're not going to give up either. They would rather all die too. And
and they're on the brink of a revolution.
Yeah,
they've got that here in a couple of episodes.
They've got some stuff going on too.
So monarchy is about to fall apart. Since
yeah, hey, that movie Anastasia? Not historically accurate. Yeah. They actually just all died. But anyways, so Teddy Roosevelt goes over and says, "Hey, look, you guys don't want to keep fighting this war, do you? Let's just ease it back. Give back Manchuria. You let them have their warm water port. Blah 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 blah." And he negotiates a peace deal between those two countries, and he is the first American to win the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yep.
So now he is a Harvard-educated boxer, cowboy. He is boxer. Harvard-educated boxer, cowboy, police chief, governor, president, Nobel Peace Prize winner.
Yep.
He's running out of things.
Yep.
War hero. Sorry,
yes.
Forgot war hero. He's running out of things
to achieve
to do. But he finds another one.
Mm.
Another big thing. He kind of creates the Food and Drug Administration.
Yeah.
There's a book that's called The Jungle. I think it was Upton Sinclair wrote it, and it basically was a very, very visceral, graphic depiction of the working conditions in meatpacking plants, where like literally blood up to your knees, no sanitation, really long hours, people like losing fingers, and it ends up in the ground beef because they're working with sharp knives and no one cares. Disease, foodborne illness, all that stuff. Medicines are not regulated, so like
that's where you have cocaine being used
in Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Yeah, where are you now?
Like, maybe we should.
Hey guys, if you take a pill, it should have a better than 50-50 chance of killing you.
Yeah.
So let's take a look
Or
at
being up for 3 days.
Yeah. So let's take a look at those things. So really putting in place labor laws, putting in place food safety laws, workplace safety laws, quality controls, like at a national level.
Yeah.
So it's not just like, hey, companies, do good things for workers out of the goodness of your heart, please, but if you don't, we're not going to make you. It's no, we're doing this.
Yeah.
And it kind of proved like some regulation is okay because these companies didn't go bankrupt.
Yeah.
People didn't like whatever. Everyone's lives got better and no one's lives really got worse. So like it's possible. It's possible to do both at the same time. Yeah. What else did he do?
Yeah, I mean the national park system.
Oh, that's a big one. I don't know why I didn't lead off with that one.
Yeah. So over 100 parks, national parks we have in our country is because of him. So really trying to preserve archaeological sites and things like that. So with Yellowstone and with
and it was for 2 reasons too. Number one was because he liked being outdoors.
Yeah, this was like a passion project.
Yeah, he loved being outdoors. He made himself in the frontier. It taught him everything. He loved hunting and fishing and being outside and doing those things. And, in the north where he's from, in the cities, like they kind of just pave over everything to make room for industry. And he's like, they're gonna clear cut the entire country if we let them. We're gonna protect these areas. So that was one side of it. The other side of it too is like having all this timber and all these minerals and stuff like that. Like if it really came down to it and we needed it, like we would cut down those trees. Like if we needed it, we would do it. So it's kind of a strategic reserve of natural resources as well. Fish and game and all that stuff. So it was twofold, but it was mostly because he liked camping.
Yeah.
I like camping.
Yeah.
Don't cut down the forest, basically. So yeah, he was a both and kind of guy. There's a moral thing. I dislike it. I think it's good. And there's a practical reason for doing it too, which made like these kind of unorthodox, unusual, kind of groundbreaking policies. You're able to get support for them because it's not just like everyone should have clean water. It's like everyone should have clean water. And also, if your workers aren't pooping themselves to death every 2 days, like they'll be better workers for you. Oh, that's true. That's true on both sides. Let's do that. So that's good.
Yeah. And then I guess we should talk really Booker T. Washington. Yeah. Okay. We haven't really talked about race a ton, so
I thought we were over that.
No, we're never over it, apparently.
I guess.
But at least this is kind of also the next time where, I guess post Civil War, post the Reconstruction amendments, and things are pretty much stalled out with just like black rights and things like that. And so, but then you have
not Teddy.
No,
so, bring it up again. Fire him up, boys.
It was actually the first thing he did, almost as president, was he famously and infamously, depending on how you want to view it, invited Booker T. Washington to the White House.
Who is black.
Yeah.
By the way, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
Put a picture. He's pretty black.
And this sparks a huge, like I said, huge thing. And
you don't have them in the White House.
Right. And so, but he kind of, I've seen conflicting opinions about like, oh, was too scared and didn't invite him back because he didn't want to, it to ruin his reelection. And
that doesn't sound like Teddy.
And I don't know. I just think in my opinion, I think a lot of times you want to be practical with these kinds of things. And it's like, let's just maybe nudge just a little bit, and then we'll kind of pull off. So you're like, oh, see, I'm on everyone's side. Okay, now let's maybe push, And there's presidents that I agree with that do that. There's presidents I really disagree with that do that. But, he did continue also hiring. It was like the merit system of hiring. And so that opened up a lot more opportunities for federal workers being hired into the White House and everything. So I don't know. I have to explain all that to you, but
I knew that.
Yeah,
I was born knowing that.
Yeah.
My dad said the only thing I have to do in this life is two things: stay black and die. So far, so good.
Yeah. Okay.
So far, so good.
Yeah. Okay. So he. Why don't we go ahead and he built the West Wing.
Yes,
that's another thing. So little.
We built it.
Yep. Yep.
Massive construction.
And also, he was known for he would have boxing matches in the White House.
Didn't he get blinded by some who was it? Jack Dorsey, the heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it might have actually been him.
Well, I have to fight him.
Yeah.
For supremacy. He punched me so hard in the face. I am blind. Don't tell anyone how blind I am, please.
But it's interesting, like his life in the White House, because he's also known for having all his kids and kids' friends would just be like running around, rollerblading through the White House and stuff, and there'd just be like meetings going on. But yeah, so he ends up, he wins re-election, or there's really only one election, and then vows that he's done. But then Howard Taft, we can just breeze over him really quick.
Holy crap! I need to get back into this.
Yeah, Howard Taft and him super close friends, and he vouched for him to run for president. Howard Taft didn't really want to, but Teddy convinced him. And then he did and won. And then they had a huge fallout because he didn't like what he was doing and he thought he could just do it better. And then led him basically, I'm speed running through this, but led him trying to rerun and win another term to try to kick out Taft. Mm-hmm. And
I made a tragic mistake.
Yeah.
You suck so bad.
I think this is kind of the point where someone really, I guess there was really no one that could have, but just to sit him down and be like, all right, maybe you need to let this go.
No, I will not. Yeah. I've never let anything go in my entire life.
So he tries running and getting the nomination, but we're in the early stages of primaries, and it's way more different now, I guess. But at the time, there wasn't a ton of influence. Like, you could kind of pick who you wanted your nominee to be, but there were still the party insiders that were like, meh, I get what you're saying, but we're going to go with this guy instead, even though he didn't get as many votes.
Yeah. He's next in line.
Yeah. So that ends up happening because Teddy actually ends up getting more support during the primary process, but the party insiders are like, yeah, but I think we should just still stick with Taft. And so he ends up, the first, stop the steal, I guess.
Well, it's kind of the first time Teddy Roosevelt has lost in his entire life, so he doesn't take it too well.
Right. So he ends up trying to run instead as a third party, as the Bull Moose Party. There was a saying he said where he's as strong as a bull moose, and he ends up we'll get into your favorite president to hate is John Adams. Mine is Woodrow Wilson.
Well, you have good reason for it. I don't have good reason for hating John Adams, but
Adams was a nerd.
He was a mega nerd.
Yeah. But so because that obviously splits the Republican ticket, it now just makes way for Woodrow Wilson to win. And actually, Roosevelt beat out Taft as the third party candidate. So, which is crazy to think about.
That's funny. That just goes to show how much ego goes into it, because even in this early stage, people do polls, people do research, all this stuff, and it's like, hey, Teddy is running as a third party. He's going to split the ticket, and he's likely to siphon off so many votes. They probably didn't think that he would get more votes than Taft.
Oh.
Maybe they did, but he's going to siphon off enough votes that we, as the Republican Party, are going to lose the whole election.
Yeah.
So we need to make him drop out. Or we need to kill Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, just let him do what he wants.
Let him go. He'll catch some sort of disease or fall off of something. He won't be president forever. Even though legally at this point he technically could have, and he probably would have kept winning. But he split the party. He did a double Ross Perot.
Yeah.
And was actually successful at it. He failed.
Perot and Ralph Nader did the Predator handshake. That was Teddy Roosevelt as a bull moose.
Teddy Roosevelt successfully failed.
Yeah, well, it's a bummer. I mean, I don't know. It's really weird. I'm kind of mixed about it because one, it's like they should have just given Teddy the nomination.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, he really shouldn't have tried to run again because Taft wasn't even really a bad president.
He just wasn't Teddy Roosevelt.
He just wasn't as progressive.
Mm-hmm.
He was like the middle of the two, and it's like that's a fair position to be in.
Sure.
But he just couldn't get out of the picture,
Right.
and he just had to be the one. Like, yeah, okay, maybe we did something almost exactly the same, but I would have done it better.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, there's a point to that. I think because he was such a student of history, Teddy was, I think he kind of saw like, okay, everyone who has made progress, every president who has moved the ball forward, when they step out of the way or get beaten or retire, whatever, and a more moderate version comes in, like stuff starts getting rolled back. Mm-hmm. So Reconstruction, progress with Grant, and then Grant gets out, and then kind of like that is a common theme. And so he has win after win after win after win. He's making things better. And then someone who is like maybe even 90%.
Well, he even did more trust busting than Teddy Roosevelt. So it's like weird that,
But it's just, I think you're right overall.
It was a huge ego.
It was an ego thing.
Yeah.
It was an ego thing. And again, if you spend your entire life, basically from age 3, just winning and being the best at everything you try, to have someone who is not you try to fill your shoes while you're still alive and could do the job, like, I understand the impulse to like still be in there. I can still do the job. No one can do the job like I can, which is very prideful, even if it's true. Mm-hmm. Like there has never been and will never be another Teddy Roosevelt. So sure. But also you're right. Your hubris has lost the Republicans the ticket.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now we have Woodrow Wilson for World War I.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Like, yeah. So
yeah.
Rare miss for Teddy.
I know. So, I should say too that he almost got assassinated.
Oh yeah, he totally got shot.
Yeah, and so he was up at
in the chest.
Yeah, and then it's this famous John Shrink. So he was this schizophrenic guy who believed that ghosts were talking to him, that Teddy Roosevelt was the one that killed William McKinley, and that he needed to avenge William McKinley by killing Theodore Roosevelt.
Okay.
And so he walked up to him point blank.
Yeah.
While he was in a car, JFK style almost, but like point blank, and just shot him right in the chest. And he ends up living because he has this metal eyeglass for his glass case and a folded up 100-page speech that's folded in half that slows the bullet down and ends up not hitting any organs, just in his chest. Mm-hmm. And he realizes he's not coughing up any blood, and so he realizes it doesn't hit any organs. So he just goes, keep driving. And so
we'll do the speech.
Yeah, he ends up doing a 90-minute speech. It was like something super long.
It was it was long.
I guess 100 pages. So I don't know. I think you might be able to find those. I wonder if those pages are around with the bullet hole.
I think they are.
Because I know he did like start passing him around and stuff like that. So
that's crazy. Yeah, like in the middle of his speech, like the doctors were like, "Hey Teddy, you've been shot. We should probably look at you." He's like, "Sorry everyone, I was just shot, but it takes more than that to take down a bull moose." Oh, and then he continued to talk for another hour, and it's like, all right, that's cool and all, but like it's still like 1908, 1907. Like it's hot. Can we not? My feet are tired. I just worked at the meatpacking plant for only 9 hours, though. Thank you, Teddy. So yeah, and he got shot with a 38. This wasn't the prostitute gun. Mm-hmm. This is a real. Graveyards are full of people who've been killed with 38 special. So that's a real bullet, and to go through an eyeglass case and paper. And still penetrate into your like chest cavity, and they didn't get the bullet out.
No, it stayed in until he died.
Like, would that have killed him? Maybe, but also like point blank range with a 38, like that kills people.
Right.
So, hey, there's that.
Yeah. So he goes on these Amazon trips after he loses the election.
Fine, I'll go to the jungle.
Yeah. And then he almost dies. He does that, and then he spends the next few years. He ends up dying. It was 1919. Mm-hmm. His youngest son died in World War I. And I know that really had that was right before he died. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like one of those, did he kind of just give up?
Probably.
At that point. Like that was a huge, huge thing. And then I know him and Edith went out into the woods for hours and were just like panting and everything about it. So Anyway, but when he passes away, he sends out his son Archibald sends out a telegram saying that the old line is dead.
That's probably the most badass thing.
Okay, no, this is the most badass thing, and I hate that it comes from Woodrow Wilson's VP, but he said, Thomas Marshall famously said, death had to take Roosevelt sleeping, for if he had been awake, it would have ended in a fight.
I believe it.
So,
because he got like, what was it, like dengue fever or something in the Amazon?
yeah, he
and
probably would have lived longer if he didn't go on that Amazon trip.
Well, he went.
Died.
Well, remember, he had a bullet in him.
Yeah.
Like, and this was only like a year or two after you get shot in the chest. Like, if I get shot in the chest and live, I'm not doing anything for a good long while. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to like Tenino, let alone the Amazon on a cannibal river cruise. Like, I'm not doing that. Teddy Roosevelt did. He lost like what 50, 60 pounds because he had like fever and all that stuff, and like he was so sick. He was like Kermit, his other son, Archibald and Kermit. Which when you're Teddy Roosevelt, you can name your kids whatever you want. Kermit, you get to leave me behind. No, Dad, I'm not going to leave you behind to get eaten by cannibals. All right, I guess I'll live. And then he lives, and they goes back home. Like, what a man.
The legacy.
Yeah, he died at 60.
Yeah.
Not even that old.
Yeah.
Not even that old. But you know what? It's probably for the best. He tried to volunteer for World War I.
Yeah.
At like 57. Put me in, coach!
Yeah.
And Woodrow Wilson's like, no, you're not going to do that.
It's like if Brett Favre was still quarterback today.
He could do it. I could still sling one, coach. I was like, you know what? You probably could, but you probably shouldn't. Yeah, he's just that dude. He deserves his spot on Rushmore.
Yeah.
He kind of made modern America.
The national park thing too. So
yeah, he made modern America.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Washington, Jefferson,
Lincoln.
Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, and Roosevelt. Yep. Teddy Roosevelt. Yeah, those are the top four. No John Adams. No. Not anywhere on there.
Yeah, okay. I think that about covers it, even though it was a speed run.
It was a speed run, and it's 2 parts. Yeah. Like, what a man. He's not my favorite president, but he's probably my second favorite.
Yeah, Jefferson.
Yes.
No, that's fair. Yeah, okay. Well, let us know what you guys think, and make sure to get to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time for good old Woody.
And World War I.
Yes.